The moment you stop being endlessly available to people, you'll notice the entire dynamic of your relationships shift. Some individuals pull away. Some become annoyed. Some suddenly start valuing you more. But the point is this: the external reactions are secondary. The true shift happens inside you. And this exact psychological phenomenon lines up surprisingly well with what Carl Jung spent his life explaining. Jung's philosophy offers a structural, almost blueprint-like answer to why becoming less available changes everything around you. Not because you're playing games, but because you're reclaiming psychic energy, withdrawing projections, and restoring boundaries that your unconscious kept dissolving. Let's break this down clearly using Jung's major concepts: individuation, shadow, projection, and psychic energy. These are not abstract theories here. Each one explains a specific psychological mechanism that activates the moment you stop being constantly available to everyone. Start with individuation, Jung's core idea. Individuation is the process of becoming a whole, solid, internally aligned person instead of a personality shaped by other people's expectations. To Jung, most people spend their lives behaving like masks. He called this mask the persona. It's the version of yourself you present to be accepted, liked, or tolerated. When you are overly available, you are usually acting from your persona. You're trying to meet expectations. You're trying to maintain an image. You're trying to live up to some ideal of a good person, a loyal friend, or someone who's always there. But Jung says the persona is not your true self. It is a survival strategy. And the more you operate from this mask, the more disconnected you become from your inner world, your instincts, your desires, your boundaries. So when you finally stop being endlessly available, what you're actually doing is reducing your dependence on the persona. You start stepping out of the mask and stepping into your authentic identity. This is why relationships shift. People were connected to the persona version of you, the one who gave, responded, agreed, showed up, tolerated. When you pull back, they are forced to meet the real you, and not everyone knows how to deal with that. Jung says individuation always disrupts the social order because people prefer the version of you that serves their expectations. This is the first layer of Jung's explanation. Becoming less available is a step into individuation, and individuation ruffles the social order because the old version of you, the compliant persona, starts dissolving. Next, consider the shadow. Jung defined the shadow as the part of your psyche that contains all the traits, instincts, emotions, and strengths you've repressed because they didn't fit your persona. Most people repress assertiveness, boundaries, anger, confidence, and self-prioritization because they fear being judged or rejected. So what happens? Those traits go underground. You keep saying yes when you want to say no. You overextend yourself. You suppress resentment. You pretend you don't mind. You tolerate things that drain you. You stay available beyond what your energy can handle. But Jung says the shadow always pushes back. It demands recognition. And at some point, something breaks. Sometimes slowly, sometimes explosively, and you suddenly feel the urge to stop being so available. This shift is not random. It's the shadow demanding integration. When you finally reclaim your boundaries, you're not changing your personality. You're reintegrating the parts of yourself that you previously pushed aside. You're allowing the shadow to express itself in a healthy way. And here's the interesting part. When you start saying no, when you become selectively available, when you stop tolerating disrespect, people around you often react negatively because they were benefiting from your repressed shadow. They were benefiting from your inability to fully inhabit your own strength. Jung says the moment the shadow is integrated, people lose their old leverage over you. That's why they react. They're not reacting to the new you, they're reacting to the old, overly accommodating you. Now move to projection, one of Jung's most famous ideas. When you're constantly available, people project onto you. They assume you'll always be there. They assume you don't get tired. They assume your time and energy don't have limits. Jung explains that projection is the mind's way of avoiding self-awareness. Instead of seeing you as a real human being with boundaries, people project their needs, fantasies, or conveniences onto you. But projection collapses the moment you change your behavior. The moment you're no longer accessible on demand, people are forced to confront reality. They have to face their own expectations, their own entitlement, their own dependence. They become aware of the parts of themselves they were hiding behind you. This is why some people get irritated when you stop being available. Jung says when you withdraw your energy, you also withdraw yourself as a projection surface. People who were unconsciously using you to avoid dealing with their own insecurities or responsibilities now have to face themselves. Their frustration is not actually about you becoming unavailable, it's about them losing a psychological crutch. This shift reveals the true nature of relationships. Once the projection fades, you start seeing which connections are real and which ones were based on convenience. Now, let's go deeper into Jung's concept of psychic energy, the idea that your attention, time, emotional presence, and effort are all forms of energy your psyche produces. Jung compared psychic energy to a limited resource. You cannot give endlessly without consequences. Whenever you invest in one person, one role, or one relationship excessively, other parts of your psyche become deprived. This is why you feel burned out, drained, or resentful when you're too available. Your energy is tapped out. Jung says the psyche protects you by triggering withdrawal. Your energy begins to retreat inward. You feel the urge to cut off, step back, detach, or become selective. This isn't coldness, it's energy conservation. And here's the crucial point. When you stop being available, you redistribute psychic energy. Instead of sending it outward to everyone, you redirect it inward to your own growth, your own needs, your own development. According to Jung, psychic energy follows meaning. Meaning grows when energy is invested intentionally. So when you stop scattering your energy across people who don't value it, the meaning in your life increases. That's why you feel more focused, more grounded, more self-respecting when you withdraw availability from the wrong places. At the same time, others sense that shift. You're no longer a constant source of energy for them. And because psychic energy is what creates psychological influence, your withdrawal makes people feel the absence of your presence more intensely. This is why relationships change so quickly when you step back. You were unconsciously sustaining dynamics with your psychological energy. When that energy returns to you, the structure collapses. Jung would say you're stopping the unconscious energy exchange and allowing your life to reorganize around your authentic self. Now bring all these ideas together. The persona collapses when you stop being available. The shadow integrates as you reclaim boundaries. Projections dissolve because people must see you as a real person. Psychic energy returns to its rightful owner. In Jungian psychology, this is a major transformation. You are no longer operating from the unconscious. You're becoming conscious of who you are, what you give, and where your energy goes. And consciousness always disrupts relationships that depend on your unconscious compliance. This is why Jung repeatedly emphasized that true psychological growth is not peaceful, it is disruptive. It changes how others see you and how you see yourself. And here's the final layer, Jung's idea of synchronicity. When you withdraw from draining dynamics, you create space for new people, new opportunities, and new patterns to enter your life. Jung says the psyche synchronizes your external world with your internal state. So when your inner world becomes more structured, your outer world starts to align with it.
You step back, you become less available, your energy redirects, your clarity improves, your boundaries strengthen, and suddenly new situations start showing up that match your new state. Jung would say this isn't magic or coincidence, it's psychological alignment playing out in the real world. So when you stop being available, the entire ecosystem around you recalibrates, not because you're trying to manipulate anyone, but because you're finally respecting the laws of your own psyche. Jung's theory makes one thing very clear. Becoming less available is not about creating distance. It's about reclaiming ownership of your mind, your energy, and your identity. And once that shift begins, everything changes, inside you and around you.